All right. And my me sitting at the controls always makes things a little janky over here. Here we are at another weekly weirdo with a special guest, Oz. Oztradamus Toys is here. How's it going, Oz?
Man, it is going great. It's been a busy, long day, but I got to say, it's been a lot of fun. I've had a wonderful time today.
Oh, good. That's great. Yeah, you've had not just a long day. You've had a long 24 hours beyond that.
Yeah.
Actually, if we go back to Thursday's Toy Frenzy, it's been a long 3 days for you.
Yeah. The weekends get pretty busy actually, but
yeah.
You know what though? It's fun. I enjoy doing this. I enjoy jumping on with everybody, and again, just talking about our passion, talking about this hobby of toy collecting. And we were just on a stream together, buddy.
That's awesome.
And not just the one from last night. We were just on a stream together.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just how it is. I really enjoy doing this. I enjoy seeing everybody, spending time with everyone, and hanging out, talking about toys.
Well, I'm glad you're able to partition off a little piece of time for me today. I know that you
make time for Skelevader.
Today's weekly weirdo has been formulated for your benefit today, and actually it's kind of great, and I'm surprised I haven't focused on this character yet, because he's up there near the top. I mean, they all are, I guess, but so let's go through there's a lot of people here in the chat. So we got John.
Make sure y'all are hitting that like button, folks.
Oh yeah, thank you, Oz. I always forget to say that till the end. I got to say that at the beginning. Like and subscribe to the YouTube things.
We're gonna bring it up several times today because you know what? I think we should push a like goal today.
Okay.
So let's get us up to 15 likes, everybody. If we can get up to 15 likes, I'll do something stupid on Toy Frenzy this Thursday. Whatever. We'll figure it out.
Oh, all right. I like that.
Yeah, I have no
idea. All right. So we got John from Figuratively Speaking. Great to have you here. Masterversal Toy Hunter, and his guess is Mossman. I think that's a pretty darn good guess. And then I chimed in to the chat. Any other ideas? What about the log? Has anyone thought about the log that's in the thumbnail?
It's log. Does anybody remember that?
Oh yeah, I remember that. It's better than bad. It's good.
Good.
Right. All right. Then Eldor came back with Kermit the Frog. That's actually a really fantastic guess. Or Groot.
Kermit the Frog here.
Yeah. Both of those are good. Or he also said Captain Picard, Captain's Log. That's funny.
That's true.
And MotuOriginsCork, it's great that you're here because you're going to be popping up in today's conversation. So it's great to have you here, and everyone's saying hello to one another. And then we've got Bobby here. Great to see you, Bobby. We missed you this Thursday, but it's great to have you here tonight.
Definitely.
Tonight, whatever.
Sometime.
Whenever it is, and also especially for those over in other parts of the world, who knows what time of day it is.
That's right.
Pains, Aaron, great to see you here.
What's going on, brother?
And something just refreshed. I got some catching up to do. Oh, there's a lot of folks here. We got Eric Perryman, great to see you.
Good to see you, brother.
Alf Inflict, great to see you. He says it's Mossman too. It's a real good guess.
A lot of votes on Mossman here.
Yeah, I wonder how they'd get that. Thanos, great to see you. And MotuOriginsCork, David says Ren and Stimpy. Yes, indeed.
That's right. Indeed. It's log.
So did Pains, Aaron, Ren and Stimpy. Thanos is like, there's no question mark here. He's like, it's Mossman. And
You don't know.
HP Brown Sauce Craft is like, okay, come on, let's see it. Let's see Mossman. Yes, today's weekly weirdo, folks, is Mossman. And
wait, it's Mossman? I thought it was Bryophytus. Oh, shoot.
Yeah, it is also Bryophytus. I have him here too.
Right. I was gonna say, yeah.
Yeah. Mine has the armor on. Yours a naked Bryophytus.
I left mine. Yeah, I left mine without the armor on. I was just a little worried about the
flocking,
the shoulder quadrants with the flocking. Yeah, so I just never really tried to put them on yet. But
yeah,
it's Mossman, guys. It's all mossy.
It is. And Thanos is right. Yes, I totally gave it away on the last Toy Frenzy. But hey, maybe not everybody watched the entire episode.
I did make the post on my community page here about, if you want to try to take a guess, watch Toy Frenzy from if you hadn't already, and maybe you'll get a hint.
It's a good way to get people to watch a rerun of Toy Frenzy. This last week was a great episode.
It was a lot of fun.
Another deep cut here. Pans is saying powdered toast
man.
I loved Ren and Stimpy.
The early Ren and Stimpy.
Absolutely. So good. All right, we got JMac77 here.
Yes, JMac.
Fantastic to have you. So as if you don't mind, Oz, I'm gonna just quickly go through my history with Mossman, and then I'd like to hear yours too. So how I usually do this on the Weekly Weirdo is I gave it away. I'm sorry, I gave it away the first 50 minutes. Yeah, all right.
It happens.
I can't keep my mouth shut sometimes.
It's all right. So you're excited about something.
I know, and I'm really excited about this one. This is a good one. So I had Mossman as a kid. Mossman and Stinkor. I got them. I think I got them both for the same birthday or the same Christmas.
Okay.
And I just absolutely loved them both. I love the fact that they smelled the Mossman's pine scent. I can still smell it to this day, though I can't smell it today because that scent doesn't last as long as Stinkor's patchouli smell.
No.
And I'm gonna talk a little bit about the Origins one once we get yours open. As far as the smell goes, but I'm going to go really quickly in the order of me acquiring some Mossman because I've got a bunch here, and I want to shout out to my wife because this is the first classics figure that my wife ever bought me, and it's Mossman, and
that is a good one, a really good one.
He actually still kind of has a smell to him. It's very, very mild, but this figure is one of the few classics that I have, and I love him, and his flocking is intact. He's in great shape. One thing that I can't seem to find, though, is the other head sculpt. I don't know where I put it.
Oh, no.
I know. But that's okay, because I prefer this head sculpt anyways.
Right. Yeah.
So anyways, this was the first. So I of course I don't have the figures from my childhood. This is the first one I bought for myself. Then the second one, this is kind of a little bit of a spoiler, but the second one I got was the vintage one. I ordered him on eBay and he came in great condition. Right now he's wearing the Origins armor that comes with him.
Okay.
His flocking was not great, but he's in pretty good shape. But I was stoked to get him. He does have a little bit of the pine smell. So it goes to show the vintage figures had a better smell all across the board. And then Bryophytus came into my life through Matthew Dooch from Legends of Grayskull podcast. I sent him some artwork and he purchased Bryophytus and Mephitor for me. So these are my two of my three mythic legions. There, Oz has his there.
Yeah, I got my Mephitor because
Mephitor.
he's great. He's Stinkor. I love him.
He's Stinkor. And this guy is definitely, I really love, a lot of people complained about the flocking on Bryophytus, but I love it. If you're just careful with it, it'll be fine. It's just a strange type of flocking.
Well, he's this moss orc from Mythic Legions. And sure, the flocking doesn't seem to be maybe as, it's hard to describe. Like, it's maybe not as tight as we would expect from like a Mossman type figure, but it's still really good. I mean, of course, we all know, anybody who's had flock toys from when they were a kid and all, the more you handle it, the oils on your hands are going to eventually strip that flocking down.
Yeah.
So, he's definitely more of a display than play with piece, even though you can certainly play with your Legions figures. Sometimes they just look better on display.
I agree.
I love the little added, armor bits with them. I enjoy that the different kind of weapons they gave him. I love that little dagger. I think it's really unique.
Dagger's great.
And he's just a great character. He really is. He's become one of my favorite. I watched the episode where you got him, and I enjoyed seeing him there. And then as I've gotten into Mythic Legions, the opportunity came where I could pick him up while we were at PowerCon, and that's what I did. Definitely picked him up because I have several of the other homage figures. And I was like, you know what? It's time to add this one too.
Yeah, he's great. And I think his flocking, well, it's definitely a different material than Mattel uses.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's that sort of the wood. It could be sort of a version of Woodland Scenic's diorama moss or grass that they or
I think that's
cover
more or less kind of what it is.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It's not as fine or powdery, it seems, as the what Mattel uses for theirs. It's definitely like more, it looks like the stuff you would glue down on some model railroad
yes,
display.
Definitely. Yeah. That's that Woodland Scenics is a very popular brand for that stuff. Hey, Radical Toys. Great to see you.
Radical Toys, what's up?
So the next one in the line of Mossmen that I got is the one we're going to look at now. So I'm going to jump past. We're going to get yours open. I'm going to jump past that real quick, and a quick shout out because the fifth Mossman in my collection was just sent to me by MotuOriginsCork. David, this, I think, can't thank you enough. I love having an additional Mossman in the collection so I can have a vintage Mossman with the armor and also one without. MotuOriginsCork, can't thank you enough for being a patron of the channel and being such a supporter of everything that we do in the Toy Frenzy universe, in the Awesomeverse. But the flocking is really good on this guy. I gotta comb out some of the lint. That's very normal.
The attached fuzz.
So he's saying it's battered. Listen, if you can find a Mossman out there, folks, that's not battered, it's going to be real pricey. And yes, Oz, you're absolutely right. I love my figures to look like they've been played with. So he is now a treasured part of the collection. Thank you, David.
I know we say we beat up our figures and stuff like that, but there's such like this, and sometimes we know that we don't mean any negative connotation when we say our figure is beat up or our figure is battered. But the truth is, the reason it looks like this is because we loved it as a kid. We played with it all day at times because, again, we definitely did not have things like YouTube to occupy us all day long or video games and stuff like that. We played with our toys. This is how we told our stories. we played with toys. And
100%.
so these battered toys, they're just really well loved. And that's one of the things that only vintage has, is those years of loving
Yeah.
and that history to it that brought it to us. That's why, even though I collect a lot of new, you cannot ever disregard the passion there is for a vintage toy or a vintage line, just because of the fact that, again, there's a history there. There's a story behind this figure and how it
Yeah.
got this scuff or this scratch.
Yeah.
And, there was some kid that loved that toy a lot. And
And
that's why he looks like that.
yeah, it's really wonderful. It's beautiful. And I can't wait for, 20 years from now, seeing Origins figures pop up online that show that they were actually played with by kids,
Right. Not
um,
just
not
sitting on a
just
shelf.
exactly. I have a feeling there's going to be a huge number of like near mint condition Origins figures popping up on eBay in 20 years.
Yes, we all kick the bucket and our kids
I
are like,
know.
all right, let's sell this crap he's had
Let's
sitting
get
on the
this stuff
shelf.
out of here. Bud, welcome to it. I don't know if we said hi to
Hey,
you yet, but
bud.
saying hi to you
No, he's
now.
just popping in.
That's great. Oh, he's painting his Snake Mountain. That's awesome.
He was doing that last night while we were live. Skelly, you should see the paint job he put on that thing.
Oh,
It
I might.
is.
I'm excited. I love your long Saturday evening streams because it gives me an opportunity on Mondays. Mondays are usually the quieter day at my job. I can
Usually.
put it on. Yeah, usually. Sometimes it gets crazy, but put it on the background and listen to you guys talk for most of the day, because sometimes there you go for 6 hours. How long did last night's go for?
Last night's was actually one of the shorter ones in the last couple
Oh,
weeks, but I made a very big statement towards the beginning. We were not breaking any records last night. We weren't going for yet another huge long stream. It was really just to kind of hang out and see where the conversation took us until, it got to the point where we're all like, you know what, we're a little tired. Let's hit the sack.
that's
And
good.
even then, it still went on for a really, really long time. And that's great.
Yeah.
I do enjoy that space, that anybody can come in. Now, I will say, Skelly, because if you're listening to this in your workplace,
Oh, I put
the
I always make sure to put my ear pods in.
okay, as long as you do, because there was definitely quite a few curse words past the 8-second mark. However, I'm pretty sure my chances of any kind of monetization in the future are shot.
I don't think so. I think they're going to be like, you know what? These people are having a good time. They're not saying anything offensive or mean to anybody. And so I don't know what you said last night, but I'll be watching. I'll be watching.
Well, it wasn't
Oh,
just me saying, it was other people, but I got him out now, and
yeah. So how does he smell?
he doesn't smell quite like I remember him.
No, it's a different smell. It's
Yeah.
I figured it out, and I may have mentioned it on my channel, but I did figure it out. It's a tea tree oil
Yeah, tea
smell.
tree oil.
It's not pine, it's tea tree. I'm
Yeah.
90% sure it's tea tree. But yeah, that's the your smell. So just to forewarn you, maybe this is different for other people, but my Moss Man smelled pretty good when he came out of the package, but he has faded considerably since then.
I've seen that from a lot of people who've opened him.
Yeah,
So I kind of expected that. And I've seen a
yeah,
couple of people work different ways, but there's no real way to keep him smelling, it seems, for any length of time, which I mean, I guess it's to be expected. Um, Even again, the older one does not retain its smell nearly as well as our wonderful Stinkor has, but that's because they
yeah,
didn't quite just infuse the plastic with the
yeah,
essential oil like they did with
yeah,
Stinkor.
yeah. Maybe.
Uh,
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
oh,
I wish there was a short. Um, the Toys That Made Us series that are half hour or hour long
yeah.
episodes. it would be really great if there was a short documentary just on scented toys to talk about the technique, because
Right.
it would be really interesting to. Oh, El Tenda says, welcome, El
His
Tenda.
didn't smell at all.
Didn't smell at all. That's very
That's
interesting.
disappointing.
That's
I
super
mean, I know
disappointing.
I was really disappointed with Stinkor too, because like he had a smell, but it wasn't as potent as you would expect. I mean, the thing about Stinkor is it made sense that he was a bad guy because he was, although I didn't hate the smell, you know, because I actually don't mind patchouli that bad, but for as rank as
Yeah.
he was offensive. I mean, if you had
Yeah.
that thing in your toy box, your
The whole
whole
toy box.
room smelled. Yeah, yeah.
Well,
Well,
and
toy box definitely stunk up quite a bit, but like you lift that lid up and your room stunk of patchouli.
yeah.
He was highly offensive with how much he smelled.
And one of
Um,
the reasons why I think, well, I'm really happy that Blue Snaggle Rocker traded some artwork with me so I could get these glass cases back here, because keeping my vintage Stinkor in here, especially when during these past summer months, every once in a while I'd walk by and I could smell, and I just open up the glass door, and the vintage Stinkor would have a smell again. So you know, it sometimes comes back. Oh, here's a good question: is anyone still missing Moss Man from MotuOriginsCork?
oh, there
Um,
we go, folks.
I don't know. Maybe have you found some extras out there, David? Let us know. There
Yeah,
might be
because
some
I know I
people who
haven't.
are, yeah, there might be some people looking. I've gone to Walmart about 10 times since I found Moss Man, and I
Yeah.
still I've only seen more, I've only seen a few in there once before, and that's when I got you yours,
And I
Oz,
thank you
and
for that because,
it, we
oh,
lucked
go
out
ahead.
because I haven't
Yeah.
seen anything since.
Yeah, and you know, it's one of these things where he has been ridiculously hard to find, which we all kind of expected. I know I was certainly expecting where like, yeah, it was going to be hard for a little while like Panther and then he was just going
Yeah.
to show up everywhere deep. But that has not seemed to be the case this time around because by this point in time, you know, when Panther came out, we started seeing Panther this long extra. Okay, he's answered and he is still
Oh,
saying that he has extras. So
okay.
reach out, people, if you are missing a Moss Man or need one.
Yeah,
We
and
have,
if you are interested in a Moss Man painting, I still have this. No one
there
has
we go.
claimed this painting yet, so folks, if you're interested in one of these, I'm not interested in doing a trade anymore. But if someone would like a Moss Man painting as part of their collection, let me know. Well, I'll give you a good
There
deal.
we go. There we go.
Um,
Uh, but when it comes to Moss Man for me, childhood wise, again, he was one of my favorites. Just because there were a couple of reasons. First, he was the first one that I recognized that, wait a minute, this is a green version of Beastman. Like, you know,
yeah.
like it sunk in like, hey, wait a minute, some of these are
Oh,
similar. Like it was that first one for me that I did notice that. Um, and at that same time, I enjoyed that he was smelly, he was stinky, you know, he had the
yeah.
smell to him. I liked that he came with this club. He was like this man of the woods kind of thing, master of camouflage. He could blend into like the leaves. So he was kind of like, you know, I even at a young age, I'd seen Predator. And like I always remember those scenes where Predator was moving through the jungle and
Oh,
like you could barely so like Moss Man was kind of like that for me. You know, he was gonna infiltrate and sneak into the enemy territory kind of thing. And I always just thought he was so cool for that. Like he was a spy.
that'd be a
Um,
great way to put him in a Masters of the Universe movie. Have this sort of mystery creature out there in the woods, taking baddies out, and not
right?
seeing him until like the end or something.
I want him to have like a legend like Sasquatch in the woods or something like that, you know.
Yeah, for
Bad
sure.
guys are afraid to go there because of the legend of this thing and it's
Yeah.
him.
Yep.
Um, you know, I dig that. I really like that. The good guys got to enter his forest uh because they're being pursued and they're overwhelmed or whatever, they're retreating. and like they go into the woods and like the bad guys won't go there because these stories or whatever. But
Yeah,
um
for sure.
this new one has new special meaning to me again because he's been a pain in the butt to find. He's been
Uh-huh.
canceled on me when I tried to
Hmm.
order him online to pick up in store. People
Yep.
have heard that story. But you gave them to me. You were able to get them
Yeah.
to me. And that means something extra. When you receive that gift from a friend, it has this extra sentimental value to it. And, so like anything that's ever given to me like that, that just has that extra meaning, holds a special place in my collection and deserves that extra attention. Like
Yeah.
that he's got to be displayed prominently somehow when I get everything reset back up the way I want it. And hopefully soon we'll figure out something to do with that because I'm still waiting on the Snake Mountain to show up so that we can get that up
Mm.
there. Well, it's one of
Hmm.
the reasons I've kind of held back from things because I got to figure out how big that's going to sit on that top shelf with
It's
everything.
gonna take
Um,
over the whole top shelf, just letting you know.
yeah,
It's
because I
massive.
mean,
You're gonna have to find a different place for Grayskull.
well, I've got some other ideas too because I'm going to
Okay,
be
cool.
trying to change the layout here because I want to have a bigger space for me to do the streaming and everything. So like this is going to be back here somewhere and then
Okay.
this is going to be behind me where this stuff is
Oh,
now.
cool.
And then there's a bookcase like to my right here. There's a dresser over here. So I might be able to spread the collection
Oh,
out
yeah.
across the top of that for like these bigger pieces like Grayskull and Snake Mountain.
Yeah,
That's
that'll
the
be
hope.
great.
We'll
That'll
have
be
to see
great.
how it all comes together, but that's the idea. So
Well,
it's a pretty slow start.
I'm envious. Every chance I get to, or usually this happens when we got to move stuff around the house.
Hmm.
But I get real excited about switching things up and moving things around.
Yeah.
That's one of the great gifts of having a collection of anything is moving things around the space and finding new locations for things and um,
I agree.
reconfiguring this back here so I could have the vintage gray skull prominently displayed. Like, just made me so happy. And then, but no one can see that. Let me move these out of the
Well,
way.
you've got
No one can see that above me, the Snake Mountain is up there.
right.
Um,
So what are you going to do when you get that vintage Snake Mountain to put up there?
I have the vintage Snake Mountain in a closet now. It used to be
Used
up
to be
on
over
there's
there.
a bookshelf here. It used
Yeah.
to be up there, but now my Beast Man mask is up there, and the
Oh
Origins
man.
Castle Grayskull is there. I don't know. I have to figure out what to do before my wife gets really mad at me with all this stuff out on display.
Oh
Um,
well, I'll make sure to cancel that merman mask I ordered for you.
oh
I'm just
shit!
joking. I haven't done that.
I was like, when NECA, part of me is just sick. When NECA launched that, I was like, okay, no one really wants me to go to PowerCon. Like that's how I feel. Like, the industry does not want me to travel anywhere or do anything else but to buy these things for myself. So those NECA masks, I'm just like drooling over all of them. And the fact that they brought Skeletor out that available again since it's sold out, just I got real excited. Plus, I love Motorhead's work. I love what he does, what Mark does. And so those masks look fantastic.
They
So
are incredible.
I have mentioned this before on previous episodes, I think somewhere, but I never had Beastman as a toy, the vintage Beastman. But I did have Mossman, and you were talking about this earlier. The head sculpt that made Beastman such a wonderful, uh, aesthetically pleasing action figure for me as a kid, and made me so envious of anybody that had him. We get again with Mossman, but what I love about the Origins Mossman and what I loved about the Classics Mossman is that they opted to paint his fangs in completely,
Right.
because even as a kid, I noticed that they had just
There.
simply
Let me
blacked out the tips of his fangs. so that he
Right.
would
So he
not
didn't
have.
look as a monster.
Yeah. And I noticed that and I was like, oh, that's too bad. Even though I understand what they're doing, even as a kid, I knew what they were doing, but
But he
uh,
needed that. I'm
he
sorry.
did. And that's why
Heroes
this
can
guy's
still be
beautiful.
ferocious,
Yeah.
right? And I mean,
Yeah.
look at it right there. Go ahead, hold him back up again. He looks ferocious because you messed with his nature, his safe
Yeah.
space, and he is willing to defend that with those fangs if need be.
I
You
just
know,
love this. This is one of Origin's triumphs.
really
For
is. They've done a beautiful job with this guy.
and I don't say this very often, but when an action figure is $40, it has to be worth it. And if you look at the packaging and you look at everything that you get with this Mossman and you look at the quality of the flocking, um, I think it's worth it.
Yeah.
But I do feel sorry for those who have not been able to find one. And so, if you want your Mossman to be shipped to you from Ireland, contact MotuOriginsCork because he said he had some extras.
Yeah. And like you said about the flock job on this guy, I mean, this is really, really well done and good.
Yeah.
And like you can still see all the detail
Mm-hmm.
of the sculpt
Yeah.
with all the flocking on it. And it kind of helps elevate that because again, he's not just green. He
Right.
has like these yellows in here, although sparse that just
But
really make the rest of it pop.
they're doing the same thing that happened with the vintage. Was there's not just one green. Um,
Right, right.
but it's hard, it's subtle enough that it doesn't stand out. Although I do prefer the dark green of the vintage, but you're
Hmm.
right. It's really cool, and the fact that the flocking goes right up to the joints.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
because again, with Bryophytus here,
yeah,
like you can see the gaps and it's really obvious and it
it's the
breaks that
same.
sculpt a little.
It's the same with the classics. The
Yeah,
same thing going
it
on there.
stands out. Now, mind you, these guys are a little bit more articulated than your standard Origins figure, but it really breaks the sculpt. And I get why they didn't get flocking all the way up in there. Because it really just would have ended up rubbing off very quickly on its own if you did like any kind of heavy posing or
Yeah.
playing with these figures. And we understand that. We get that. But the job they did is amazing. And I know some people were a little upset that the hands weren't done better.
You mean his sleeve comes to an end
Right.
at his wrists? Yeah,
It
that's a
does
little weird, but
it does break that very similarly to how the joints being non-flocked on the other ones do. Because now it looks like he's just wearing a fuzzy jacket,
yep.
or he's got like a fuzzy bodysuit on with like a little hood that goes up over his head. And that's only like, I'm sorry, I'm not using the spare head. I'm never going to use the
No,
spare head.
I've already put it away in a Ziploc baggie. I don't even know where it is anymore. Hey,
Yeah, I
Honor,
don't
you.
know.
Nice to see you.
Great to have you here, brother. So good. So he has Origins Mossman and Point Dread clogging up the shelves just like Naked Stratos.
Oh,
Okay,
wow,
everybody.
that's interesting.
Yeah,
Well,
so
maybe Mossman will continue to hit the shelves and will go on clearance one of these days, and
some people have been
that'd be
posting
great.
Point Dread for $10.
Oh, really? I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah.
I have seen Whiplash for nine. I mentioned it on Toy Frenzy, $9. So
I experienced that yesterday. I went in and my Target had Whiplash on clearance. It wasn't $9, it was like 16. But
yeah,
still, that just came out and it was down to $16. It's really weird. Um, too bad. Too bad I've started to see again,
okay,
which is weird because
yeah,
he was gone for a while, but he's back
yep,
and he's on clearance.
interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of odd. Now, if I do come across some Point Dreads at $10, I may have to buy like more than one. I don't
Yeah,
know. Like, I want to do some ramparts or tower things with it because I don't know, maybe I'll just cut off the bottom and like super glue it on to the current point dread to make it stand up taller because it
Well, for
needs it.
anybody that wants little consoles for their reaction figures, all those consoles are great. Those computer consoles in the
Right?
point dread, it's like you can probably just remove it, and then use the
Oh
shell
yeah.
to build a fort of some sort for.
You
Um,
stack a couple of them across together, and you could set your
yeah.
Castle Grayskull on it. So there's like a lower level crawl space. It's not really a
Ooh, I love
big
that.
enough, just something neat like that. Put the tops on the different towers of Castle Grayskull, so they've all got these
Yeah,
little peaks, maybe. Um,
that's a
but I
great
mean,
idea.
it's just for $10, it's really not a bad price, and then you get this awesome like fleet of bird ships. You put them
Yeah.
all with the laser turrets on there, have one as a communications thing. It'd be cool. You do different loadouts on your point dread or on your Talon fighters, which is kind of cool.
You can paint them different colors. Oh
Yes.
yeah, lots of options. I do want to also mention to folks that if you are interested, I did see they still have the Mossman skull
I
at
saw
Target
that.
for like $5, no, at $3 or something like that.
Yeah, it's like $2 to $3. And
Yeah,
I also saw that they have these stumps.
yeah, the
Thanos
stumps are
showed
cool
off that
too.
he had bought the stump. Yeah, it's like $5 for the stump.
Yeah,
That is really cool. I could not find the pink and blue skulls. I was looking for them though.
they're back in the back, in the
Okay, they're not up
Halloween
in the
section.
front.
They're not
All
up in the
right,
front.
see.
There's a
I
whole
was looking
like
through the value section for them, so
yeah, they're and they should be because they're only $5 each. But yeah, go have a look in the back in the Halloween section.
have to check
Hey,
it out.
Masters Keep, great to see you.
Yeah, definitely great to have you, Ben. Thank you. And let's
Yes,
see, a
and
couple turrets outside Grayskull would be really cool too,
oh
right?
yeah, for sure. Yes, absolutely, Thanos. Um, Thanos is also reminding us that he shot Mossman on that stump. Yeah, that's awesome. And
I was thinking that
in
same
fact,
thing when I was looking at it.
if you have multiple Mossmen, I think that stump can probably, I've seen it, it can probably hold 4 or 5 action figures on that
Oh, it definitely can.
surface.
It's big. It's
Yeah,
big.
so that would be cool.
I agree.
Your little Mossman section on your shelf can have a stump. That's great.
Hey, there you go. Stumpy the Mossman section.
That's right. So Oz, when was the first time? Do you remember the first time getting a Mossman?
No, I don't. Like again, I was very young when I got a lot of this stuff. So memories, I have a lot of memories
Yeah.
playing with them, but I
Yes.
don't have a lot of memories getting them. And the closest that I've got is those pictures that we've shown off
Yeah.
of me receiving a lot for Christmas and birthday that one year. And I know that happened for more than one year when it came to Masters of the Universe. And I do remember, it's funny because you brought up that you got Rock On and Stone Dar now. I
Yeah.
do remember getting them and opening them up
Oh.
in the car because I can't remember whose gun it was, but I definitely lost one of their guns in the
Oh
car
no.
before I even made it home.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, I don't remember the first time that I opened them, but I definitely remembered playing with them a lot.
Yeah. The same thing for me. I don't remember opening him. I don't remember if it was Christmas or a birthday that I got him. I do know that I got Stinkor and Mossman at the same time, but I don't remember that moment of opening them or what the occasion was. He's putting his extra head from Mossman on a Royal Guard. That's awesome, Master's Keep. It's a
And
great
you know
idea.
what? Now that he brings that up, I think it was Thanos, may have done that on the Snake Infiltrator, the one that
Mm.
looks like the Royal Guard, because there's that green matches the green of this Mossman
Oh, that's
very
cool.
well. Yeah, like pretty
Brilliant.
close.
Brilliant.
So I dig that.
Oops,
Oh,
sorry, I just clicked that off there. Oops.
see, yep, there it is. Put them on a color. Yeah.
You go ahead
As
and
we
click.
fight,
Yeah.
Put him on the Palace Guard Infiltrator, and it matches
That's right.
better. Yeah, see, I knew I'd seen that from somebody. The color match was a lot better.
That's right.
Okay. Yep. Cobweb
there you
saying
go.
he did that with the guard. Thank you, Cobweb.
Nice.
You know, again, when you got all these people showing up on the stream, sometimes it's hard to remember who was exactly doing what when. Except Bud seems to have the most memorable moments.
It's a real blessing to have that issue, you know, to be able to be like, who did what? Because you've got, you know, we have a lot of folks in this community, and it's awesome.
Yeah, it is. And honestly, like seeing what you guys are doing, one of the reasons we love doing that vendor showcase segment is because seeing all of the wonderful stuff that all of you guys are doing.
Yeah.
It's inspiring to so many. So we really enjoy when we get a chance to share that with as many people as we can through the show.
Yeah. Well, we got another one coming up here sometime. Maybe after Halloween we'll do another viewer showcase.
We can tie that in with the second annual Friendsgiving episode somehow.
Oh, yeah, it's a great way to do it. Just as a quick reminder, folks, we do have a really cool giveaway coming up around Halloween. That is all thanks to MotuOriginsCork. He's a really awesome patron of this channel, and we appreciate you. And we're really excited about that giveaway coming up on Halloween. We do have an episode coming up here pretty soon with Justin from Stunt Puppet Pictures, who's been doing those stop motion animation shorts for Mattel. He's going to be popping in again sometime in October. We haven't secured a date yet. So do keep your eye out for the next episode of Toy Frenzy. And Oz, do you have anything to say here at the end?
Well, you know, guys, like I really, really do appreciate everybody, and thank you all for jumping out and watching this. Thank you all for being a part of this community that we've built here. And, you know, it's absolutely amazing. And David's stealing Bobby's name here. So, yeah, you know, it's crazy, but I absolutely love not just, you know, like we all appreciate Masters Universe. It's definitely what brought us all together.
Yeah.
But it's these bonds that have tied us deeper as a whole. And it's really great that we can